Hello everybody, Gannon here, joined by Dylan.
Hello.
This is another... Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Dylan actually said hello this time.
I always say
cue.
hello.
Holy shit, okay. Wasn't ready for that. We're back again with another of the OnePod podcast. Today I'm really excited to be here. I'm dummy excited to be here to talk about One Piece with my good friend Dylan. Because today we're going to be reviewing chapter 987. It's titled The Loyal Retainer Kinemon, at least in the translation I'm looking at. Okay, and the start of this chapter, before we actually get to the chapter, there was an excellent color spread. And it says, like, One Piece, we're going to live like tomorrow doesn't exist. It's the whole entire Straw Hat crew, minus Carrot, of course, because fuck Carrot, she's not a Straw Hat. And they all illustrated brilliantly, wearing very cool outfits. Some highlights, like Jinbei looks amazing in that kimono, and his tattoo is showing his print, because it's actually a brand. It's not really a tattoo. And we also have Zoro holding Enma, and Enma has that very rich blue color to its sheath, and it's got the red wrapping around it. So very cool to see Zoro's new sword in the color spread. All right, let's get to the chapter. Starting off, we have the flashback to when Odin actually gave Kaido a scar in his dragon form, the large X. And he is throwing his retainers out of the boiling pot, and he tells them, he basically instructs them to open the borders of the Wano country. They're doing the dash. Odin's like, don't underestimate my samurai, and those words will follow you, Kaido says. Now Kaido, this is kind of coming back to nip Kaido in the butt, because as we could see in the next page, a fucking amazing page right here, we see the remainder of the flashback of Odin's death. Odin perishes, and Kaido is falling. He's falling from the top of they're in like a theater place right now, like a stage, I think they're referring to it as. He falls off the stage, and it's the Red Scabbards, and you could see that they are actually managing to
harm him.
Pierce him. The thing that really is crazy is that Kikunojo actually has her sword fully impaled through his hand. That right there is a decent wound for sure. I don't know what the fuck Nekomamushi is supposed to be doing.
I was also confused about what he was doing. I think it might be his teeth. I really don't know, but it looks like both of his arms are kind of holding Kaido's arm, and it appears as if something is going through him.
So I don't know is that little log thing on the right if that's supposed to be his other arm, then I just assume that he's holding on to that left. That's his left arm in trying to subdue it and get it out of the way. And then he might also possibly be biting it. Because the thing is that he approached Kaido simply with his claws bared, and then he also has a gun arm. He didn't have a blade or anything, so I don't believe that he's one of the people who's supposed to be one of the stronger ones who's actually capable of Ryu. I actually think that there's only a few scabbards here who are capable of that level of Ryu to impale him, because you could actually see Raizo is simply just keeping his swords bared across his neck. So why Raizo isn't actually going for some kind of strike in that instance is probably because he's not capable of using strong Ryu like the other samurai, right? So you could see here on the next page, Kaido, there's a sound effect or something, and it's alluding that there's something happening to the wound. And he's like, my wound from Odin. And he's like, pain? Why? This is really cool, by the way, because we're getting in... This is what I'm really excited about in this chapter, because this is actual internal dialogue. Kaido doesn't speak that much. Kaido's always been a character who we get what we could take from him, right? Just seeing a few pieces of dialogue, it's give me that. Oh my god, ever since Kaido was mentioned back in Thriller Bark, this guy's been actually quite elusive and very mysterious character. So he's like, pain, why? Why are the blades piercing through? Are those bastards using Odin's Ryu? Okay, so it seems like the only people in the One Piece universe who are capable of hurting Kaido are people who like, have a basic understanding of advanced hockey. Like, only advanced hockey users can harm Kaido. So, other than that, Kaido's just, like, doesn't have to worry about fuckers at all. So, unless he's going up against, like, a Yonko-level opponent, which in a 1v1, I'm sure he's used to, like, having a little quarrel and spar with them. I've seen with that opening scene when Big Mom came in and he was, like, using his club against her sword, Cognac, I believe it was Cognac. Against Cognac. So everybody's like, is Kaido-san screaming? So Kaido's actually, like, screaming in pain. Like, it's almost as though Odin's spirit is flowing through these blades right now. Metaphorically, or maybe even possibly quite literally.
I would like to think it's more so metaphorically than...
Me too.
Like, yeah.
I think literally is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's really crazy. You could see in that panel, you could see, like, the bottom, there's a stream down there at the end of the stage. Kaido's falling. There was quite a bit of, this chapter is really hectic, and there was actually quite a bit of duwangs. Like, the first duwang I'd like to point out is the Nekomamushi panel is a little bit unclear. But that's no big deal. Everybody's like, pierce through him. So I'm under the understanding that's probably Ashura Doji, Kinemon, Denjiro, and Kikunojo, who are the 4 strongest scabbards, and those are the ones who are actually able to pierce through Kaido.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm going to go with. Kaido plops down, very similar to how he fell from the Sky Island back when Kid and Apu and them were having their little pirate alliance. He creates an actual hole in the ground. Like, they say they fell under the ground. So Kaido and them have a lot of mass. And then, of course, Dylan, if you have anything to say, just interject me at any time.
Nothing yet.
Kill those samurai. So the samurai from a moment ago were just a decoy then. There still might be intruders somewhere. And then, okay, it's go time, baby. Everybody takes off their disguises. Hyogoro? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Hyogoro. Dude, I'm sorry that like, guys, I know these names, but, you gotta admit that there are a lot of kind of difficult Japanese names in the Wano arc, so it's a little bit hard for me to keep them all under lock and key at all times. So, Hyogoro, he pops out his sword, and then this is really cool. Just kind of like Big Mom's behavior. She's quite the carefree individual.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's, like, really, while all this is happening, she's very, very, very laid back. Like, doesn't really, like, care about what's happening.
She, like, really doesn't give a shit or feel threatened whatsoever, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's like a show for her. Like, she's just watching, like, oh, that's cool.
She's like, oh, what a dangerous feast. Is Kaido dead? Like, he could really care less if he's dead or not. So everybody's surprised now that they were in disguise, and they're starting to realize who these people are. Like, are those the Yakuza who should be imprisoned in Udon? And then here we go, back to Yamato and Luffy. Very exciting. Hurry up, Luffy, let's attack Kaido while he's vulnerable. We are the real retainers of Odin. And then Luffy comments about how the samurai are very strong. And, dude, I was half expecting these swords not to go through at all.
Same here, but once we get to later on in this chapter, that's something I want to comment on about their swords going through.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then we see at the bottom left part of this panel, we see Ulti coming out and striking Yamato with what seems like a small club,
like a type of like Morning Star type,
like a mace type beat, yeah. And Luffy just says, "Oh, it's headbutt." Just refers to her as headbutt. Because here's the thing about Wano arc, like, we were really all excited to see like a bunch of zone fruits, but it is kind of slightly disappointing that all the zone fruits are just either prehistoric fruits, and then there's just the only real cool one is Kaido's dragon fruit, right? Like, okay, none of the headliners even have that interesting of fruits.
Yeah, except
like
for Hawkins. Because Hawkins? He is a headliner, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, I'm not counting him. I'm just counting the zones. Also, Hawkins isn't even really part of the organization. He was low-key forced to. So it's here's the thing about how zones work, right? They literally just turn into animals, and then the hybrid form's kind of interesting, but they've always got to come up with some of these like niche gimmicks to make their fruits like just more than normal animals. So Ulti's fruit, she has that dinosaur who has that armored plated head, so she's going to be centered around doing like crazy headbutts. And then you have people like Kaku, who like folded himself up into like a giraffe box and did some crazy spinning moves. So, you know, there is kind of a level of disappointment with like these dragon fruits. I would very much like to see some more interesting ones. Either that, or I would like to see the dinosaurs do a bit more than just kind of do like one simple attack and they get their ass kicked. Because that's all that's been happening. Like Page 1 got his ass kicked by Sanji, speed blitz by him real quick, and then like the same thing happened to him with Yamato, and Ulti the same way. So that's just something I would like to share. And Ulti's trying to talk to them. They're really not paying that much attention to her. And Yamato's proclaiming that it's finally time for her to become Kozuki Oden. And Ulti thinks this bitch is crazy. For real. And she kind of is a little bit. She is kind of like living in this some sort of fantasy that she would like to play out. But it's fine. Nothing too unreasonable.
It's all
Young
part
Master...
of the character.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Young Master Yamato, we're in trouble. Your father's under attack, and there's a lot of enemies on the stage, too. And then, this is funny. She's like, I'm not your ally anymore. I don't give a shit if my father dies. That actually made me weak the first time I read that. I like her personality. She's, you know, she's hot. And then also, she's just a little bit raunchy, so definitely my type of woman. Straw Hat. Big Mom comes running finally. The only thing that makes her react is the appearance of Luffy. So I keep on talking about how she doesn't really pay much attention to Luffy's crew. It seems, Dylan, that her only real gripe is with Luffy and Luffy alone. Like, she almost doesn't hold the rest of Luffy's crewmates responsible for what happened on her island. She's truly just pissed at the captain. Like, she's truly just pissed at Luffy. Something funny, though, he's like, Big Mamu, I'm busy now. So he's like, you know, go bother me later.
Yeah, now's not the time.
Carrot and Nami do what I'd expect of, you know, somebody of their power level to do. Just be able to escape from the homies.
Easily, without effort, it seems.
And really cool panel right there. Big Mom looks rather menacing, and she's like, I've come all the way here to beat you to death. And Luffy's like, That's a really funny panel right there, Luffy's expression. I really enjoyed that. Okay, now on to the bread and butter. This page, this spread, just look how many, like, just text bubbles are here, how fucking great it looks, how raw Kaido looks. I'm gonna read everything, pretty much, here. We have to go over all this. No one believed Orochi's delusions, but all the connections make sense now. The rumors, the shadows in Odin's castle, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, the Phantom Island Zoe. You were able to miraculously deceive me by hiding in the shadow of the Straw Hats, and you joined hands with pirates. The thing is, though, is that Kaido, you kind of let yourself be deceived. Like, you literally didn't give any, like, attention or mind to the existence of the Red Scabbards, even though it was kind of clearly evident that they were still around. Like, Orochi fully was aware of their existence. He just didn't, like, it doesn't really come down to the fact that, like, Kaido was deceived. It was more like Orochi put it down in pen and paper for this dude, and he was just totally ignored it and didn't give a fuck. And now it's coming back to bite him in the ass hardcore. Because that actually is decent damage, dude. That's like a fucking... That's synonymous with like a law gamma knife. You know what I mean? I'm sure Kaido's just kind of... You know, he's just kind of... What's the word I'm looking for? Just wave it off like Doflamingo did.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually, is that later on, right, once you get to the point where, you know, it seems like this is, I don't know if I want to, like, say this now or at the end, but to me, at least, it seems that, like, the Scabbards, they definitely, like, did something. They were able to harm him. They were able to pierce through him. But it seems like they didn't, like, do all that much. Like, they didn't make any big, like, they didn't do a lot of damage, like, where it was, like debilitating for Kaido, that, like, major damage, or like it will affect him later on, like Odin did to him with like, actually like causing him to have that scar.
Not to mention, dude, like I feel like he might start to feel the repercussions of this later in a later battle. I feel like that's at most what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He still has to fight the Scabbards. Like, he goes up to the top of the dome, and all the Scabbards are there ready to fight him.
Yeah.
And another thing, I don't know if the Scabbards had this damage done to them, like, prior to going up on stage. I don't think they did. But, like, if you look down at the panel, they're all kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like just in that little altercation with Kaido, like, just trying to stab him, Kaido wasn't even retaliating. It seemed like Kaido's power and essence kind of just rubbed off on him, and they're fucked up. Like, Izo, they all kind of have, like, a little bit of blood. I don't know if that was from a previous battle, but I don't think it is. I remember the previous panels, like, they were kind of pristine condition. Like, Contro did not give them that much trouble. Okay, but I literally, honestly think just stabbing Kaido took that much out of him.
Yeah. But I was going to say further on is I think the whole thing with that isn't, like, I don't think this is, I think with them, like I said last chapter review, that the, like, them, like, whether they stab him or not, it will either bring Kaido up or, like, put him down a little bit in how we see him and how strong he is. And I think, personally, this is, like, despite, even though they did pierce him, I think this has just made him seem stronger. Not stronger, but, like, that, like, he's, like, really, really fucking tough. Because, like, it took, like, 6 of the Red Scabbards, right, to even pierce him. And that's with all of them doing a combined attack at the same time. With, like, most likely 4 of them using a form of advanced armament hockey. And even that didn't do, like, a shit ton of damage. It just pierced them little and caused them to have pain.
They keep on talking about how Kaido's this impenetrable beast, like, he's been tried to, like, execute it, like, 7 times, and it never worked. The blade always snapped and everything.
Yeah.
And people are like, how can you kill this dude? He's so invincible. And it's like, even when you do get to him, like, you get a literal open shot on Kaido and you could actually hurt him, he still just kind of rubs it off. And he's like, all right, let's start the war.
But
you guys... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the big thing with them being able to pierce him, I think what that, like, is showing is that, Kaido may be this, like, the strongest creature in the world, like, this absolute monster, this beast, but despite all of that, he's not invincible. He can still be harmed, not. Which is, like, I think a really good thing to see here, and I like it a lot.
But only by the actual top tiers of the universe, because advanced hockey has only been seen by a handful of people. Like, it's very niche. Very few people have been implied to be able to use it, or, like, are actually using it. Do you know what I mean? So Kaido's truly the toppity of the top tier. Definitely. That's definitely what we're observing here.
Yeah.
Kaido's, this is one of my favorite parts right here of the whole entire chapter. He's like, however, you must know that pirates will stop, abandon you, escape the moment that you lose. So he doesn't have much faith in pirates, which is, it's accurate.
Yeah, understandable.
Kaido's not really a righteous pirate by any means, so he's, like, used to dealing with fucking scallywags and scumbags. I've already crushed Straw Hat's spirit once, so... You're insulting him by saying that. He cuts him off. Luffy Dono is different from you. He will one day be the man standing atop these seas. This is the part that fucking
this
got
gave
to, like,
me, like, shivers.
This
gave me
dude. This one chat bubble. This one chat bubble actually, like, raised, like, my spirits IRL. Even if all of us die, he will still be standing. The dawn will inevitably rise in Wano country. That's our promise with our Lord. That's a lot of praise to Luffy, dude. That's a lot of praise to Luffy. And it comes at a very cool and appropriate moment. And it's really good.
And before we move on to the next page, I also wanted to point out that I think, like, I feel like if this was Big Mom, right? And this was a scenario with Big Mom, where Big Mom managed to be harmed a little bit. I don't think she would give, like, her attacker props. But, like, I think it's cool in this how Kaido is, like, actually saying, like, good job. Like, you deceived me. Like, you got me. Like, good shit. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
really cool. Like, it's like
He's weirdly humble.
yeah, I was gonna say he's like kind of humble despite being one of the
he
strongest
also-
people, like strongest characters in the verse.
It's because, like, so many weaklings probably approach him, and when people can actually give him an exciting fight, like, that's kind of a repeating theme in characters who are seen as, like, the strongest of the strong, right? They're actually kind of wanting strong opponents to come and fight them, and when they do come around, they're like, oh, fucking hats off. You know what I mean? Like, I had some guy talk to me disrespectfully yesterday, and I crushed him with 2 of my fingers. But, like, you stabbed me, so hats off to you. So yeah, no, that is cool, and he did give a lot of respects and props to Odin, and he still does. Like, he looked at Momonosuke, he's like, "There's no way you little fucking bug could be anything like that great man." Like, even he admits, like, Odin was a great warrior. All right, next page, the stage. Big Mom asks, "Why did you come here, Straw Hat?" And he's like, "Don't tell me that you came here because defeating Kaido would be fun." Kaido's like, and Luffy's like, nah, that's not it. And here's also another fucking badass panel. Yamato's like, what? That's not it? And everybody's like, wait, you didn't come here to defeat Kaido? And Luffy is just like, dude, he's coming out with the combo number 5 meal. He's like, not just Kaido. He's like, you higher-ups, Orochi, the subordinates, I've come to beat everyone's ass.
Yes,
I've come to beat everyone's ass. It's a full-on war, baby. That was dope. He's like, he's starting, they said it. He said it, they said it, it happened, like, it's a war. It's finally, they said it, it's happening. Next page. Mama! You're not safe just because you brought a few hundred people with you? And then Queen's like, haha, utter fools. And they're like, Queen, thousands of intruders are entering the castle from the back door. And then there's that iconic Queen, just like his funny face, dude. I love Queen. I really like him. I want to see a lot from him. I want to see a lot more from him, and I want an epic battle from him. It seems that whole shit, remember when we were theorizing that, that one of the Toby Roppo would fight Queen? There's no time for that to happen anymore.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
just
definitely not.
happening.
It's not happening, I don't think.
If anything, the Toby Roppo are just gonna get, like, put on the back end now. They might not even be super prominent characters. Like,
I feel like we'll get
see
a fight out of, like, who's who and somebody else, and like that's
and then
it.
Black Maria.
Yeah, like one or two of them, and then that's it. I think they're like,
yeah. So a little bit disappointing from the Toby Roppo. They're not really super fleshed out yet. Hopefully they will be, but we were thinking that there might be, like, a quick fight between one of the Toby Roppo and Queen before all this shit went down to make Queen seem like a badass, but it just didn't happen. I really would have liked that to happen, but of course you can't get everything. And really cool panels right here. The samurai that should be in prison in the Flower Capital are being escorted by Kid, and the prisoners from Udon are being escorted by Zoro. Law is escorting just, like, pirates.
ooh, something I want to point out here real quickly before we move to the panel to the left of that. I doubt this is who it is, but to the left of Law,
You think that's, like, Hawkins or something?
That kind of looks like Hawkins. Just from the hair alone, that kind of looks like Hawkins, because I feel like...
Dude, that looks more like fucking, what's-his-face from the Beauty Pirates?
Ooh. What's his name? Shit.
I forget. Cavendish!
Yes. But
that looks like Cavendish hair, but there's no way Cavendish can
there's
be
no
here.
way he's there.
The Straw Hat Grand Fleet's going to show up later in this arc, or they're just going to show up for the final war.
I think they're going to show up for the final war. I don't think they're going to show up in this arc.
Dude, listen, if they don't show up in this arc, then this war is really not as big as they're hyping it up to be. That's all I'm going to say. Because, like... Dude, like, if this is truly going to be Marineford 2.0, it's going to make Marineford look like, dude, I need more people to show up. Like, the current contenders right here are just not enough. We need somebody to show up and surprise us. Like, we need Blackbeard, we need Shanks, we need somebody to show up, we need the Straw Hat Grand Fleet to show up, we need somebody to show up. Like, this cannot be it, right? You know what I mean? Like, if we're, like, dude, Marineford had Whitebeard, it had all 3 admirals, it had every warlord. And I know there are 2 Yonko here, but just the representation from the 2 Yonko so far is just kind of, like, it's not It's not giving me Marine 4 vibes. So
I see
expect
where you're coming from with that, but I still don't think that. Okay, I feel like it would be cool for
think the
another
Straw Hat Grand
player to show up, but I don't think it's going to be the Grand Fleet. I feel like they're going to be saved for the final war.
Dude, that would be kind of lame, though. Like, if they're only going to use the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, like, once in the entire story.
You do make a good point with that, too.
Like, once? Like, dude, from then on out, then they just become, like, back characters in Luffy's hypothetical arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, I don't know.
We'll have to see. I
need somebody else to show up, is all I'm saying. But anyways, Law is actually looking quite cool in that panel escorting the pirates, but here's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? Dude, that drawing of Sparrow, what the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm. But,
like, that's one of the biggest duangs I've seen.
Aside from the duangs, what's going on in that panel? Why is Marco and Sparrow just kind of together, just chumming? Like chilling,
yeah,
like they aren't attacking each other. Like they're like the way this panel kind of seems to represent it is that Sparrow is there to help Marco in a way, but that makes no sense.
Listen, Dylan. They even say it. They say accompanied by Charlotte. I
know.
They might be conveniently showing up at the same time, but they've got to flesh this out. They've got to add context. There's got to be some flashback to Marco, talking and meeting with Sparrow prior to this. Mm-hmm. There's gotta be. But the thing is that also, that's, look at that little scribble that's supposed to be Marco and that little, actual piece of shit that's supposed to be Sparrow. That is a really laughable duang. That's all I'm going to say. There's no reason for that panel to look as garbage as it does. It's just, I get you only have so much space on the page, but just, bro, come on. That looks a little bit weak.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're telling everybody, tonight's feast is canceled, get your weapons, the war's starting, and everybody's like, let's take the Wano country back. Here's go time for Kaido, right? He transforms into his dragon form. It's pretty much, it seems apparent. You can't see a fucking scratch on him from when he was in his
This is where I wanted
form.
to mention what I mentioned earlier, is because it seems like there's not a, single bit of damage on him that we see, apparent from the red scabbards piercing him.
Dude, this man grows 7 to 8 times his original size. This devil fruit is honestly insane.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the most strong devil fruits in this series, easily.
Mm-hmm.
He proclaims that he will show him the mightiest power in the world. So Kaido honestly thinks he's fucking top dog. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, even though despite him getting pierced by the red scabbards, it seems in this panel and the next, on the next page, that he is still fully confident and that he is going to be able to, beat the red scabbards ass. He still has full confidence in himself.
Those 4 impaling samurai swords, dude, where it's like somebody poking at him with a toothpick.
Mm-hmm.
He's chilling. Then you see that all the red scabbards are latched onto his ginormous fucking body, and dude, look, Kinemon is 11 feet tall, and look at how, he pales in comparison to Kaido's ginormous fucking body. Kaido's in his dragon form is fucking ginormous.
Mm-hmm.
Kinemon says, we're in your debt. Kinemon actually has one of his eyes permanently closed right now, just from what I said before. And I might have to go back and fact check to see, but I think all that damage came from them simply just trying to stab Kaido.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy says, I will follow you later, meaning that Luffy's gonna have his final battle with Kaido later, but I think right now, dude, he honestly might have to deal with Big Mom in some fashion.
Mm-hmm. There's no way Big Mom is not gonna go charging at him and try to kill him right now.
Yeah, especially now that she sees everything that's going on.
Yeah,
shit's actually hitting the fan. So
I don't think he's gonna fight Big Mom right now, but he's definitely gonna have to deal with her in some way.
Yeah,
whether it's getting away with her or having her be occupied by somebody else. But that's gonna be. I feel in the next chapter we're gonna see some sort of fighting interaction between the two.
For sure. If Big Mom doesn't do that, or she doesn't show some form of concern, then I will be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, dude, this fucking page. this page right here is one of the like coolest pages in all of One Piece. I'm gonna be honest, like the giant Kaido dragon form, which looks sick. It's so well designed.
Mm-hmm.
And all the scabbards looking at him in just prepared in a stance. That's not the only difference. We knew that you can't fight inside the dome if you go into your dragon form. We brought along the warriors of our kingdom, the Ming tribe, scattered snow in a clear sky, and there seems to be a full moon. So yeah, the Sulong form has honestly had its cock jerked since its introduction. Like, people really like to bring up and theorize about the Sulong form. Mm-hmm. You saw Carrot, a rather, like, mid-tier, like, less than mid-tier character, become kind of, like, almost a goddess in her Sulong form. Mm-hmm. It is an insane power boost, and they have intentionally lined all this up so that there would be a full moon. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to see characters who are already, like, you know, scabbard level, like high New World top tier characters, Neko Mamushi and Inuarashi, who contested, or were not as strong as, but contested Jack the Drought, who's a 1 billion berry bounty man and a commander and one of the most durable people we've ever seen, and they're about to go into their Sulong form. Now, I think we're going to have a little bit of a Great Ninja War Hokage moment, and I think like they're going to do their best against Kaido, but I think they're ultimately all going to get waxed.
I think, I was going to say that I think they're all going to go into their Sulong form, and I think even despite like all of them, including Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, going into their Sulong form, like they're still going to get defeated, like not easily, but like they're going to get like waxed. Like
Luffy's going to get to the top of the dome after he's, you know, dealt with all this other shit happening in the war, right? And he's going to see, like, all the scabbards, like, defeated and sprawled out, and he's just going to get fucking pissed. He's not... There, it's going to be at that point where you're, like, really supposed to be intimidated by the main villain, like when Madara defeated all the Hokage during the Great Ninja War and just fucking waxed them, and that was the moment where people were like, holy shit, who's going to defeat this guy? And that's what I think is going to happen. That's basically my prediction. Anything else you would like to say, Dylan?
There was something, but I forgot. Hold on, let me think. Oh, yeah. On this last page, right, we see on the bottom, it says, more space is better if we were to kill each other. It reminds me of that day, but Odin is dead this time, right? So, if you think about it, right, Kinemon, Inuarashi, Nekomamushi, like a majority of the scabbards, I think, for except Usher, Doji, and Denjiro, they all got put forward in time by Toki, right? And I don't know the exact time span, but between that happening and now, it isn't like that much time. So they haven't had
It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years, but I mean for like the people that jump forward in time, it hasn't been that much.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's like really, it's going to be hard to put this into like the way I want to like say this, but it hasn't been much time for like Kinemon and like the people that went forward in time.
Right? There hasn't been any time for these characters to develop.
It like get stronger. Exactly. So they're like, I would say they're still as strong now as they were on that day, and they had Odin, and yet they still were able to pierce Kaido, right? And I think there's a lot of reasons why, besides the fact that, like, their own personal strength. Like, there's the fact that Kaido was drunk, they caught him by surprise, they attacked him from behind, and not only did they, like, catch him with a surprise attack on its own, but Kaido himself is surprised that it's the scabbards coming after him. So there's a lot of factors going into that. And I think it's like how with Katakuri, he kind of lost his ability to see into the future when he got like really flustered and angry, right? And he kind of had to calm himself down. I think it's the same thing here. I don't think Kaido like is just naturally that tough. I feel like it has to do a lot with like him and Hockey. I feel like he's just like
I'll stop you right there. Okay. I'll stop you right there, Dylan, because I actually feel like you're dummy wrong here. I feel like, and here's well, I'll tell you, like the biggest piece of evidence for this is by how Kaido is surprised that they're able to stab him. Like innately, they shouldn't be able to stab him whatsoever.
Okay.
I feel like it's a direct product of his dragon fruit that his normal human form he just has insane fucking durability because it's kind of compounded off the fact that he has those dragon scales. People are like, because it's even been said before by Luffy that, like, he needs to be able to get through the dragon scales, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like he's in his most durable when he's in his dragon form, when he has the physical scales, but I think that translates back into his regular human form. He just gets innate, insane durability.
Okay.
Yeah. But one thing that was really good that you mentioned is that who are all the people that travel forward in time? We have Kinemon, we have Raizo, and we had Kanjuro. Those were the three people in Momonosuke. Those were the people who traveled forward in time, right?
Say those names again.
It was Kinemon, Momonosuke, Raizo, and Kanjuro, and nobody else.
Was it? Oh.
Right, because those were all the people that were picked up on the way to Wano.
I feel like... Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know why, but I feel like...
Those were the only people.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But the thing is that... Here's the thing. Of those people, like, the only person who's actually stabbing Kaido in this moment is Kinemon. And Kinemon was alluded to be the strongest, like, one of the strongest among the scabbards and, like, a great warrior on the day in the Battle of Odin. So, you're right, he hasn't had any time to develop. I'm sure if this was, like, 10 years later, or 20 years later, I don't know how old Kinemon would be. I imagine he'd be comparable to Denjiro's age, but I don't think so, because I think Kinemon was, like, an adult when Denjiro's, like, a kid. But, but besides the fact, right, Raizo was not able to cut Kaido to our knowledge. And it's probably because he's just a ninja, and he has had no development time as well. So, like, that kind of goes to tell you that Kinemon was probably the strongest scabbard on the day of, like, the Kaido attack. But not really. I feel like Ashura Doji was also kind of a dog. But that's the last thing I wanted to really say analytically about this chapter. This was a fucking amazing chapter. There was a couple duangs, but there was also just some of, like, the coolest...
About duangs, I also want to mention this. If you look on this last page, look in the top left panel and look at Nekomamushi.
Yeah, he just kind of looks like a fuzzball.
Yeah.
No real form.
Like, you could say it's like, oh, it's the shadow, like, of, like, the moon, like, you know, the light from the moon being a shadow, but still, like, it's like, there's, like, it doesn't seem like there's
Why couldn't they have just, like, shown Nekomamushi's face with the chat bubbles around it? Like, it doesn't... Maybe it's because he's about... It's probably because he's about to go into Sulong form. He's, like, transforming. That's why. That's why, Dylan. Okay, yeah, no. I just answered my own question. But anyways, yeah, I kind of want to wrap it up now because we're approaching 40 minutes. And I feel like we've definitely talked about everything we wanted to talk about. This was an amazing chapter. Couple duangs. But we also got some of... Probably, like, some of my favorite pages in One Piece as well. So you definitely can't complain. I'm so excited, Dylan. I just want more war. I just want more crazy fucking awesome shit to happen, dude. One Piece is so good. It's such a great story, dude. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please slap a like on it. If you have anything you'd like to share or discuss with us, please leave it in the comments down below. I will be sure to get back to you. I had a good time. Dylan probably had a good time.
Great time.
We will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.